Hello everyone, ARG back for some more hockey, of course. Franchise Hockey Manager 8 on the menu today. It's going to be the start of the 1989-1990 season year. We have a very thin lineup. We don't have a whole lot of depth. I like the players that are actually on the lineup, but if we get injuries or something, that's going to get a little tricky. So we don't have a whole lot of room there. I will be scouring the waiver wire, and I will be probably picking up some players because today is the first day of the regular season, so teams have to put players on waivers and everything beyond the waiver draft. So you can see already on the screen that I have some players that are not making the team and that have to go through waivers. Randy Busick, Wilkes, Richmond, Playfair, Guy, and Walker. So I'm not sure that any of those will be claimed. But anyway, so those guys have to go through waivers. We still have our goaltender of the future, that French guy that we drafted, François Gravel. Although I think it might be just that he's not labeled properly because the game says that he was born in Sherbrooke, which I know is not in France because my hometown is about an hour away from Sherbrooke. So yeah, so I don't think you're really from France. We got fooled. I think you're from Quebec, really. Alright, and then Randy Ladouceur is also day-to-day, but other than that, we should be good to go. Today we are going to be hosting the Maple Leafs for the first game of the season. Also, today we are probably only doing October. The Sens in real life are playing here in about 2 hours and everything, so that gives me time to do the stream here and get things wrapped up and get ready for the game. We won 6-3 against Pittsburgh yesterday, which was a nice change. Of course, the Sens are depleted by COVID and injuries and everything, so that made that win even more special. Although, to be fair, the Pens are also struggling with injuries and COVID, but still. Alright, so the Leafs are in town today to play the LA Kings. We're going to take a look at their lineup before we get started. Alright, so Al Seckard is hurt, so he's not going to be playing. So, yeah, not playing this game against us. Right, in net, the Leafs have John Casey and Ken Regan. Oh, they're going to need to send a player down. They are one too many, so I'm going to be saying one too many name. I don't know who's going to be sent down. My guess is that it's going to be Marty Dahlman, but I don't know. Alright, on D, they have Todd Gill, Brad Marsh, Borje Salming is back. I think it's Paul Boutier, so, sorry. Dale DeGray, Al Iafredi, Alan Peterson, and Sveich. Up front they have Tom Chorsky, Wendell Clark, Bob Gainey, Jackson, Osborne, Reed, Dalman Danfus, who is suspended. He's not going to be playing this game. Fergus, Oldchuck, Ross Courtnall, Lachlan, Gary Lehman, and Daniel Marois. Alright. Let's play this game. Looks like Ray Shepard is playing on the third line. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Oh my, Richie Dunn is playing. Oh, that's true. The Randy Ladouceur is hurt. I'm hoping that Richie Dunn doesn't play too much. He's really there to be my 7th defenseman, but Ladouceur is hurt right now, so I guess that's okay for now. Right, John Casey in net for the Leafs. We have Glenn Ely for the game number 1. Of course, I hope everybody has a great season. By everybody, I mean mostly me. It is my challenge after all. But I hope you will enjoy the ride for season number 2. Hopefully we can win the cup this year. Alright. Go Kings go, of course. And we start pretty good. We start with a 5-1 win against the Leafs at home. So let's take a look here. Oh yeah, we outshot the Leafs 37-16. Gary Galley was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Marty McSorley was the second star with an assist. And Wayne Gretzky had a little bit of a weak game for him. Third star, only 2 goals. That's it. Oh, alright. So, oh, not a sellout crowd here in Inglewood. The fans still have that exit in the playoffs on their minds. They don't want to go to the games. Oh, Bruce McNall is gonna do some more crank, and then he's gonna be upset at me or something because we're not a sellout crowd every night. Alright, Gary Galley opened up the scoring in the first period, only 34 seconds in, from Mike Gartner and Luke Robitaille. Then Chris Conto scored from Ken Baumgartner and Randy Wood. Scott Arniel scored from Ray Shepard and Ron Duguay. It was 3-0 Kings after 1. There was a fight between Marty McSorley and Wendell Clark, and then later Gord Dineen and Jeff Jackson face punched each other. Alright, then in the second period, the Leafs scored. It was 3-1, and then Wayne Gretzky scored from Mike Gartner and Marty McSorley. 4-1 Kings after 2. And then a fight between Gord Dineen and Mark Osborne. And then in the third period, Wayne Gretzky scored his second goal of the season and the game from Ken Baumgartner and Gary Galley. 5-1 the final score. Alright, Wayne Gretzky extends his point streak to 13 games. Of course, it goes back to last year as well, so he had 2 goals as we saw. Luke Robitaille extends his point streak to 17 games with an assist in that game. Vincent Darfus is going to be back in the lineup for the Leafs, so he served his suspension, missed the game against us. Akinlube extends his point streak to 12 games. He had a goal and an assist against the Wings. Oh, Kevin Guy did not clear waivers, so yeah. He has been claimed, so he's the guy that I had claimed off of the waiver draft, and I was hoping, since he's only a 1-star, I was hoping that he could sneak through, but he didn't. So he was claimed by the Blues, and then Randy Ladouceur is almost back. Now, nobody has put anybody on waivers, so I think I've been doing this wrong. So I shouldn't have called back everybody like I did for preseason. So maybe I need to not do that next season so that I don't lose extra players like I just did. It's new to me to play in that era. Usually I start in 1991 because that's when the Sens show up. And it doesn't work exactly that way, but anyway. Alright, we have a day off, and then we're going to be hosting the team that knocked us off of the playoffs, the Edmonton Orders. Yeah, I saw that Kevin Guy was claimed. Oh. Charlie Bourgeois has been put on waivers. I cannot claim him. Alright, Randy Ladouceur is back. And New Jersey is looking to move Paul C., the 1-star left winger. Alright, so Edmonton is in town now. They lost their first game of the season. We're going to take a look at their lineup, see if it changed a little since they knocked us off of the playoffs. Craig McTavish is going to miss the game. He is hurt for quite a while, actually. 2 to 3 months. Alright, so Andy Moog and Bill Ranford are in. Wow, where is Grant Fuhr? Anyway, Andy Moog, Bill Ranford in net. Ken Hammond, Charlie Addy, Kevin Lowe, Craig Muni, Sean Cronin, Jeff Bukaboom, Blum, Reed Larson, Steve Smith. That's a lot of D's that they're carrying. Craig Simpson, Esa Tikkanen, Ludzik, Messier, Smith, Acton, Glenn Anderson, Yari Curry, Lacombe, McDermott, McLennan, and Basil McRae. So the team is very similar to what we faced in the playoffs. Alright, and Randy Ladouceur is not even playing. Still. Alright. Andy Moog is going to be in net for the Orders. We are going to go with Glenn Ely. So it looks like we may have a clear-cut starter this year. Oh, we lost that one. We lost 4-1 against the Orders. We were also outshot 30-22, and that's a story that was the case as well during the playoffs. They outshot us in all the games but one, I believe. So Ludzik was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Basil McCree was the second star with 2 assists, and Lacombe was Normand Lacombe was the third star with a goal. We did have a sellout crowd for this game, but it was a loss. Orders scored twice in the first period, and then Marty McSorley scored from Jim Fox and Mike Krushelinski. It was 2-1 Edmonton at that point. Then they added another goal in the second period, made it 3-1. There was a fight between Marty McSorley and Steve Smith. Then in the third period, Steve Ludzik scored, made it 4-1. There was 2 more fights. Marty McSorley fought Kevin McClellan, and then Marty McSorley fought again, this time against Keith Acton. So 4-1 loss. We're 1-1 to start the season. Oh, there's some players on waivers. I might be finding some help there. Uh-oh. Luke Robitaille got suspended. He's going to miss 2 games. That's not good. Wayne Gretzky's point streak ended at 13 games. Scoreless against the Oilers. Luke Robitaille's point streak ended at 17 games. No point for him either. Akan Lube's point streak ended at... Wow, that's a sad day. Everybody's point streak is ending. So Akan Lube stopped at 12 games. No point against the Islanders for him. Johnny Wendyke extends his point streak to 12 games. In that game, he did get an assist. Steve Chiasson is suspended in Detroit. He's going to miss 6 games. And in that same game, there was no stopping Gerard Gallant. He had a hat-trick against the Canucks. And now we play right again, this time against the Red Wings. Right, let's take a look at who's available. Oh, it's a bunch of players from the Orders. We just played against them. Well, 2 of them are. Right, Paul Boutier is available. I can't get it. I could get Steve Rooney. I don't want him. Well, we're gonna stick to what we have. The only player that I could claim, I would have to put right back on waivers because I'm not keeping him in the lineup. He's only an alpha star player. Alright, so playing the Wings, they are now 1-1. That's good for 8 in the Campbell Conference. Alright, so a couple injuries here. Paul McLean not playing, he's hurt. John Shabbat may or may not play. He has a day-to-day injury. And then Steve Chiasson is suspended, so he's not going to play, obviously. Glenn Hanlon and Greg Stefan are in net for the Red Wings. Paul Cavallini, Steve Chiasson, Sharples, Weimer, O'Connell, Rick Zombo, Andy, Sean Burr, Evans, Gallant, Klima, Probert, Adam Graves, Shabbat, Adam Oates, Steve Eiserman, Dave Barr, Miroslav Freiser, Kosher, McLean, Murphy, and Neil up front. Come on, we can win this. Although we don't have Luke Robitaille. Alright, we can do this. Alright, Greg Stefan is going to be in net for the Red Wings. We're going to go with Rolly Melanson. And it's a 3-3 tie. Well, it's better than losing, I guess. Yeah, I would have preferred to have the win, so it's on home ice, and we outshot them 38 to 29, so I would have preferred to have the W for sure. Wayne Gretzky was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. O'Connell was the second star with a goal, and Mike Gartner was the third star with an assist. 15,801 people in attendance, so not a full crowd again. Wayne Gretzky opened up the scoring 25 seconds into the game, and that was on the power play, so there was a quick penalty that was taken. So that was a power play goal by Gary Galley and Ray Shepard. 1-0 Kings at that point. Then in the second period, Gary Galley made it 2-0 for the Kings from Wayne Gretzky and Mike Krushelinski. And then the Red Wings scored twice. It was 2-2 after 2. Then in the third period, the Wings took the lead, but shortly after, Wayne Gretzky tied the game from Mike Gartner and Scott Arneal. It was tied at 3, and of course nobody scored in overtime. And as a result, we have a 3-3 tie. Suspension over for Sean Anderson with the Buffalo Sabres back in the lineup over there. Alright, we have a couple days off, and then we're going to be hosting the New York Islanders. Alright, Doug Gilmour is out of the lineup. He is listed as day-to-day by the Flames. 6 days with a bruised shoulder. Johnny Wendyke's point streak ended at 12 games, no points against the Devils. And Paul Coffey extends his point streak to 12 games with Pittsburgh. He had an assist against the Jets. Alright, Alain Chevrier is on waivers. By now he has a alpha star. I am not picking him up. He's a goaltender. Goaltender is probably the only position where I have a decent call up to bring up in Mark Fitzpatrick if I have an injury. Alright, Islanders are in town. Islanders are perfect this season. They are 3-0. Hopefully we can give them their first loss. Right, so they have Ken Leiter that's hurt with a fractured wrist, gonna miss 1 to 2 months. Other than that, they are healthy. Kelly Rudy in net, Mark Laforgue as the back. Oh, we played them in the preseason. I remember that lineup. Steve Duchesne, Evans, Conroy, Norton, Beers, Janssen, and Ricky Andy. Then up front, Gilbert, Henry, Brad Lauer, John Leclerc, Mikko Makela, John Tonelli, Bob Basson, Rico Elmanen, Pat LaFontaine, Sutter, Trotcher, Flatley, Kerr, and Volek. Kerr is not Tim Kerr, it's the other Kerr, Adam. Alright, they don't have the best D in the world, and their best defenseman I traded to them. Alright. Go Kings, go! That's the second and last game without Luc Robitaille. His suspension is going to be served after that. Islanders are going to go with Kelly Rudy in net. I am going with Glenn Ede. Ew, that's a 5-1 loss. I have a feeling that this season is going to be a little tougher. My D is really not very good. We were outshot 35 to 33. Mikko Makela was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Kelly Rudy was the second star with 32 saves. And Thomas Jansson was the third star with 2 assists. We had a sellout crowd. Wow, why is it that every time we have a sellout crowd is when we lose? Alright, we had a sellout crowd, but we lost, and we opened up the scoring in the first. Wayne Gretzky scored his 5th on the power play from Mike Ridley and Chris Kontos. It was 1-0. Then the Islanders scored 2 goals in the second. They were up 2-1. Scored 3 in the third. They were up 5-1, and that was it. Not a great game for us. Oh, dear God. This is not good, folks. Not good. Mike Gartner and Mike Krushelinski are both hurt. And their name is in red, so they are not able to play. Oh. Oh. that's gonna hurt. Mike Krushansky is out 2 to 3 weeks. Mike Gartner is out 2 to 3 months. Oh boy. Alright, so Krushansky will miss 3 weeks. He has a strained hamstring. Mike Gartner, he has a torn plantar fascia tendon. Luke Robitaille comes back from suspension. Suspension for Mike Millar in Washington. He's going to miss 3 games. And Gary Lehman is not being suspended. Alright, so now that's where it hurts. I don't have a whole lot of backups. Alright, so oh dear God. Might as well recall that young guy that I drafted. I mean, he has 5 points in 3 games. Alright, so being recalled. I only have half-star players. That's all I have. Alright, Frank Bro. Maybe Couturier. Busick. I'm gonna recall Busick. Alright. Oh boy. We are being tested very early in this season. That's gonna be tough. Strong night for Brian Noonan. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against the Leafs, and I saw that Marty McSorley is also hurt, but he's day-to-day. Whew, the injury bug here is going to kill me. Alright, we are now playing 2 games on the road here. First one is going to be in Vancouver against the Canucks. Canucks are 2-2 this season. They are actually ahead of us in the standings. As we remember, they were really terrible last season. So Canucks are 4th in the Campbell Conference. Alright, so they're going to be playing without Barry Peterson. He is hurt. In net, they have Kirk McLean and Frank Pietrangelo. On D, they have Randy Boyd, Finn Ives, Giles, Reinhardt, Siren, Lidster. And then up front, they have Greg Adams, Bozek, Artman, Bradley. Oh, it's Brian Bradley. Hodgson, Linden, Modano, Peterson, Berglund, Dahlin, Sandlax, Kriko, Schmill, Sutter, and Tony Tanti. Alright. Well, I hope Wayne Gretzky is in good shape, because he's going to need to carry the team for a while. Alright, Rolly Melanson in net. Kirk McLean in net for the Canucks. Come on, Kings. We won 4-1. Alright. First road game of this season is a W. That's always good. Oh yeah, we outshot Vancouver 56-30. Ray Shepherd was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Wayne Gretzky was the second star with a goal and 2 assists. And Gary Galley was the third star with a goal and an assist. Let's see, there was a fight in the first period between Mike Artman and Randy Ledusser. Then in the second period, Ray Shepherd opened up the scoring on the power play from Chris Kontos and Wayne Gretzky. Then Gary Galley on the power play as well from Wayne Gretzky and Ray Shepherd. It was 2-0. Then the Canucks scored. It was 2-1 Kings after 2. We added 2 more goals in the third period. Wayne Gretzky scored on the power play from Ray Shepherd and Gary Galley, and then Scott Arneal scored in an empty net from Gerald Deduck and Dan Gratton. It was 4-1. That's how the game ended. Right, the New York Rangers are looking to move David Shaw, who is in the minors. He is a 2-star defenseman. Right, we have a day off, then we're playing in Edmonton against the Orders. Bob Fraze is available on waivers. I cannot claim him. I wouldn't anyway. Peter Sundstrom is also available, and I cannot claim him, and I wouldn't anyway. He's an alpha star player by now. Right, suspension for Gerard Gallant with the Red Wings. He's gonna miss 4 games. No one could stop Sylvain Turgeon. He had a hat-trick against the Devils. That was 5 straight games with a goal for him. Paul Coffey's point streak ended at 12 games. It was held scoreless against the Montreal Canadiens. Oh, and there's already been a trade, so there was like the news yesterday about David Shaw, and now he's been traded to Washington. So trade between the Rangers and the Capitals. David Shaw and Chad Erickson go to the Capitals for Pete Peters and Dan Bilesma. Wow. Pete Peters is now a Ranger. All right, we are in Edmonton. We already played them. Edmonton is now 2-2. That's good for 8 in the conference. We are 0-1 against them. We did lose 4-1 against them in the first game. Brought back some memories of being eliminated in the playoffs. Glenn Ely is going to be in net for us. Andy Moog is going to be in net for the Orders. Oh, 5-2 victory this time. Oh, yeah. Alright, so we're playing above 500 here for the first time since the first game of the season. Let's see, we outshot the Orders 34-21 in that one. Luc Robitaille was the first star of the game. He had 3 assists. Wayne Gretzky was the second star with 2 goals. Gerald Deduck was the third star with 2 assists. Edmonton scored first, then we scored 3 unanswered goals in the first. Jim Fox from Randy Wood and Jeff Smith. Then Wayne Gretzky from Gary Galley and Luc Robitaille. Then Mike Ridley scored from Luc Robitaille and Gerald Deduck. It was 3-1 Kings after 1. In the second period, Jim Fox scored his second goal of the game from Gary Galley and Scott Harney. It was 4-1 after 2. And then in the third period, Wayne Gretzky scored shorthanded from Luc Robitaille and Gerald Deduck. It was 5-1. The Orders did score a minute and 22 seconds later, made it 5-2, but that's where the scoring ended. And there was a fight in period number 3 between John Blum and Gerald Deduck. And my voice is struggling. Sorry about that. If you've been following me for a second, you know that it tends to happen sometimes. Alright, so nice win. We're gonna go back home for 1 game. Oh, Neil Broughton extended with the North Stars. 4-year extension for him. Alright, we have a day off, and then we're hosting the Bruins. Oh, Dave Christian with Washington is out for 6 months. Broken bone in the elbow. Well, that's not going to help the Capitals there. Mike Millar is back from suspension with the Caps as well. Alright, Boston in town. Boston is still winless. So, see, Ray Bork, you should have signed with me, man. Well, I guess it's not your fault that Boston matched the offer. Lesson learned. Alright, so Boston is 0-4-2 this season. Let's take a look at their lineup, see if we can understand why they are sucking at the start of this season. Right, everybody's healthy in Boston. Right, so in net they have Reggie Lemelin and Delfino. On D they have Doug Crossman, Greg Allgood, Gord Kluzak, Shoebottom, Wesley, Bork, and Felvin. Up front it's Brickley, Randy Burridge, Joyce, Mark Wart, Miller, Jimmy Carson is still there. Craig Janney, Casper Linsman, Sweeney, Byers, Crowder, Paul Gay, who was claimed in the waiver draft, and Cam Neely. Sorry, my throat is terrible right now. Alright, we are hosting Boston. David Delfino is going to be in net for Boston. We're going to go back to Glen Ely. And it's a 5-2 victory for the Kings, so Boston still winless this season. We outshot Boston 35-28. Wayne Gretzky was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Ray Shepherd was the second star with 2 assists. Gord Dineen was the third star with 2 assists as well. 15,816 people witnessed this awesome victory. Chris Contos opened up the scoring in the first period from Ron Duguay and Jeff Smith. It was 1-0 for the Kings after 1. Then in the second, Randy Ladouceur scored from Gord Dineen and Wayne Gretzky. Then Gretzky scored from Gerald Deduck and Ray Shepherd. 3-0. Then the Bruins scored, made it 3-1. There was also a fight between Randy Ladouceur and Gord Kluzak. Then in the third period, Wayne Gretzky scored his 10th of the season from Luc Robitaille and Ray Shepherd. Then Boston scored, but then Randy Wood scored in an empty net from Jim Fox and Gord Dineen. That's a 5-2 victory. Mike Allison, former LA King, is being put on waivers by the Blues. I will not claim him. I cannot. Oh no, I can. Oh. I actually can claim him, and I might get him back. Or not. Folks, I never stress it enough. Always go and check the ratings. He's a star and a half, and I'm like, oh, he's probably an upgrade over like a couple of my call-ups, but you know, his IS roll is an 8. So I'm not claiming him. Wayne Gretzky extends his goal streak to 5 games in that game against Boston, and Doug Gilmour extends his point streak to 12 games with 2 goals against the Quebec Nordiques. Alright, we have 3 days off, and then we're going to go on the road a little. So we're going to be playing in St. Louis against the Blues. Doug Gilmour extends his point streak to 13 games with an assist against Montreal. There was no stopping Gary Lehman, who had 3 goals and an assist against the Canucks. Big game for Mark Osborne in that same game. He had 3 goals and an assist. Marty McSorley ahead of schedule. That would be great that he is playing at full capacity. Joey Kosher is suspended in Detroit. He's going to miss 3 games. Steve Chiasson is back from suspension for the same team. McSorley almost 100%. All right, 1 more day off, and then we're going to be in St. Louis to play against the Blues. Magnus Rupe is available on waivers. He's going to stay there. Frederick Allison has a strong game for the Jets. He had 4 assists against the Blackhawks. Jeff Norton is suspended with the Islanders. He's going to miss 3 games. Mike Krushelnyski is ready to come back soon, or return to practice, so that's 2 weeks away usually. Marty McSorley is fully recovered. And is Brian McClellan about to be moved in Minnesota? Hey FJ, welcome back. Only playing through October today so that I can catch the game against Calgary for the Sens. You guys play in Boston tonight, but the Sens game is earlier, so. Alright, so we are in St. Louis to play the Blues. So St. Louis is 3-3 this season. That's good for 6th in the Campbell Conference. Let's take a look at their team. They have one injury. It's a day-to-day injury. Tony McKegney is the one that's hurt. He has a lacerated hand. Alright, in net the Blues have Alan Besser and Greg Millen, Brian Benning, Charles Worth, Gaston Gingras, Waters, Bothwell, Gordy Roberts, and Guy on D. That D is not very good. Yeah, that goal that he allowed to Larkin yesterday was not great. Montembeault has not been very good this season for Montreal. Alright, up front the Blues have Gino Cavallini, Dave Lowry, Tony McKegney, Sergio Momesso, Mike Bullard, Meager, Cliff Running, Bernie Fedorko, Jim VC, Brett Hull, Mark Napier, Greg Paslowski, Herb Ragland, and Rick Vive. Yeah, he would make a good, Montembeault would make a good tandem with André Racicot, right? You could see who gets sunburned the fastest. All right, in St. Louis, come on, folks. All right, Rolly Melanson is gonna play that one. He's gonna be facing Greg Millen. Oh, we won 8-3, despite the injuries. We outshot St. Louis 34-23. Wayne Gretzky was the first star. He had 2 goals and 3 assists. Luc Robitaille was the second star with 2 goals and 2 assists. And Marty McSorley was the third star with 2 assists. Oh man. highest goals against average trophy named the Racicot trophy. Poor André Racicot, that's not his fault. Alright, so we won 8-3. The Blues scored first in the first, and then we scored 4 unanswered goals. Scott Arniel scored from Randy Wood and Gord Deneen. Then Luc Robitaille scored his first from Jeff Smith and Wayne Gretzky. Then Wayne Gretzky scored on the power play from Gary Galley and Ray Shepherd. And then Mike Ridley on the power play as well from Ray Shepherd and Gary Galley. It was 4-1 for the Kings after 1. The second period, Luc Robitaille scored from Wayne Gretzky. It was a 5-1 affair after 2. There was a fight between Brian Benning and Gord Deneen as well in period number 2, sorry. Then the Blues scored twice at the start of the third, made it 5-3, but do not panic, we had that. Gary Galley scored from Wayne Gretzky and Luc Robitaille, and then Gretzky shorthanded from Marty McSorley and Luc Robitaille, and then Ron Duguay from Marty McSorley and Randy Wood. 8-3 the final score. There was also a fight between Dave Lowry and Gord Deneen. Gord Deneen was busy tonight with 2 fights. Wayne Gretzky extends his goal streak to 6 games. A little 2-goal and 3 assists night. That's about the normal for him. Doug Gilmour extends his point streak to 14 games with 2 goals and an assist against the Bruins. Sean Cronin in Hartford is suspended. He's going to miss 3 games. Gerard Gallant is back from suspension in Detroit. And Brian Leach set everything up tonight. He had a goal and 4 assists against the Flyers. So you think that Montreal is going to go with Montembeault tonight, or do you think they're going to play Caden Primo? All right, so very next day we are in Chicago to play against the Blackhawks. They are 4-5. That's good for 4th in the Campbell Conference. As usual, let's take a look at their lineup. Oh, they do have some injuries here. So Everett Sanipass is hurt, not gonna play. Steve Larmer is hurt, not gonna play. Brian Noonan is hurt, not gonna play either. Yeah, I guess you have a point. I don't know what they're gonna do, but yeah, it's probably gonna be tough. Boston did play yesterday as well, too, but they played in the afternoon, so they might be a little better rested than Montreal is. All right, Chicago has Bob Mason and Vincent Riendo in net. Dave Manson, Gary Nylund, Doug Wilson, Bruce Cassidy, Keith Brown, Bob Murray, Brad Shaw, Trent Yonne, and Chris Dahlquist on the. That's a lot of like NHL current coaches slash execs that just resigned from their position not too long ago. Oh yeah. You would become the youngest coach in NHL history. You would beat Paul Maurice record. I believe that he still has the record for the youngest coach in the NHL. Right, and then up front, the Blackhawks have Steve Thomas, Owald, Eagles, Murray, Ronick, Denis Savard, Biggs, Graham, Jensen. Oh, yeah, that's your favorite there. McKenna, Presley, and Sutter. Alright, let's see if we can beat the Hawks. Glenn Ely in net for that one. Vincent Riendo in net for Chicago. Go Kings, go! Oh, another win. 4-1 this time. Alright, so even with 2 of my top 6 injured, I managed to win. We outshot Chicago 42-30 in that one. Wayne Gretzky was the first star, a goal and 2 assists. Gary Galley was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Scott Arneal was the third star with a goal. Gary Galley opened up the scoring in the first. That was his 5th of the season on the power play from Chris Kontos and Wayne Gretzky. 1-0 for the Kings. There were a couple fights. Dirk Graham fought Marty McSorley, and then Denis Savard fought Gerald. That's the second time that Denis Savard's been fighting in games against us. Denis Savard is really feisty in my game for some reason. Then in the second period, Wayne Gretzky scored on the power play from Gary Galley and Luc Robitaille. It was 2-0 for the Kings, and then Chicago scored, made it 2-1 before the end of the period. There was another fight between Dave Manson and Gerald the Dog. Yeah, I don't think that Denis Savard's grit per 60 was off the charts in real life. I've seen him play. His Pinorama per 60 was probably off the charts, but the grit, I don't think so. Scott Arneal scored in the third period from Wayne Gretzky and Ray Shepherd, and then Bob Kudelski scored in an empty net from Dan Gratton and Randy Wood. 4-1 the victory here. Alright, Wayne Gretzky extends his goal streak to 7 games with a goal and 2 assists here against Chicago. We have 4 games left here in October. We have a couple days off. We're going to go back home to play a quick game. Doug Gilmore's point streak ended at 14 games. It was held scoreless against Washington. McSorley's grit per 60, well, it's probably really high, and it's just amplified by the mullet. Pretty sure that Marty McSorley had a mullet at one point. If he didn't, he totally should have. But I seem to remember McSorley having a mullet. Also, remember McSorley's sick being deemed illegal in the playoffs. Alright, and Uwe Samuelson was looked at, and he's not going to get suspended. I guess he didn't destroy Cam Neely's career just yet. Hey, I didn't have a mullet in the 80s or the 90s. I'm gonna start growing one now. It's coming back in style. You're gonna be able to see like my nice hair here while I'm streaming and everything. I'm gonna make sure that I shampoo it really good so that it's all shiny for the camera and everything. Yeah, good old rat tail. Right, one more day off before we host the Flames. Oh, big game for Chris Jensen. Look at that. Your uncle there. He had 4 assists against the Blackhawks. Although you're so young, it might be your grandfather by now. There was no stopping Craig Simpson. He had 4 goals against the Islanders. Mike Bullard extends his point streak to 12 games with a goal and an assist against the Flyers. Alright, Calgary is in town. They are 4-4-2. That's good for 4th in the conference. That's going to be our first game against them this season. Alright, so they have Colin Patterson that's hurt for 2 to 3 months. Not going to play. Yeah, I don't use Head and Shoulders. I never like the smell of that shampoo. Like, something's wrong with it. Like, it smells way too strong or something. Never cared for it. Who am I kidding? I don't shower. Alright, so Calgary is in town. They have Mike Vernon and Rick Wamsley as goaltenders. On D, they have Jamie McCown, Brad McCrimmon, Dana Merzen, Gary Suter, Al McInnes, Rick Natras, Rob Ramage. That's right, that's right. Real men only use their natural body odor. Right, Berezan, Ranheim, Roberts, Gilmore, Erdina, Nieuwendyk, Joel Otto, Jim Piplinski, Theo Fleury, Hunter, Lou, Mullen, Parker, and Sherla up front for the Flames. Alright, Mike Vernon is going to be in net for the Flames. Glenn Ely is going to be in net for us. Oh, 5-4 wins. A little close game here, but we are on top, so that's what matters. Alright, so we outshot the Kings 39 to... Oops. We got outshot by Calgary 39 to 26. Sorry about that. I'm not used to play as the Kings, as you can see. A little blunder there. Alright, so we won 5-4 despite being outshot by 13 shots. That's pretty good for us. Jim Fox was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Joe Mullen was the second star with 4 assists, and Mike Ridley was the third star with a goal and an assist. Full crowd here in LA for this game. Gary Galley opened up the scoring in the first. That was a power play goal from Ray Shepard and Wayne Gretzky. Then Bob Kudelski scored from Luc Robitaille and Jeff Smith. And then Wayne Gretzky scored on the power play from Gary Galley. It was 3-0. Then the Flames scored twice. And it was 3-2 for the Kings after 1. There was a fight between Marty McSorley and Rob Ramage as well. In the second period, Jim Fox scored from Randy Ledusser and Mike Ridley, and then Mike Ridley scored from Randy Wood and Jim Fox. It was a 5-2 game at that point. And the Flames gave us a couple of sweats here. They scored twice, made it 5-4, and there was still 12:50 left to go in the third period, but they just couldn't get that tying goal, so we won 5-4. Scott Arniel is hurt. I Don't have any more spares. The spares that I got are already Alf stars. 1 to 2 weeks. Wayne Gretzky extends his goal streak to 8 games. He had a goal and an assist. Passes on point for Joe Mullen. As we saw, he had 4 assists in that loss for his team. Dave Andreychuk lights the lamp. He had a hat-trick against the North Stars. Great night for John Tucker in that same game. He had 4 assists. Yari Curry is suspended. He's going to miss 6 games. And a night to remember for Dan Quinn. He had 4 goals and an assist against the Toronto Maple Leafs. All right. I have no depth. No depth at all. Let's look at which Alf Star player I'm going to be recalling here. I have 5 choices. I have Craig Duncanson. He has 9 points in 8 games. That might be him. Couturier, 5 points in 8 games. Brian Wilkes, 8 points in 8 games. Frank Bro, 9 points in 8 games. And Gord Walker, 3 points in 8 games. All right. It's going to be Bro or Duncanson. I think I'll go with Bro. He's a little bit more offensive. He gives the finger to old ladies. Alright, suspension over for Joey Kosher. Back in the lineup over there. Sean Cronin back from suspension for the Waivers. Mike Bullard extends his point streak to 13 games with 2 assists against Minnesota. Alright, 3 more games left to play. Ew, that's a long road trip here. Alright, so I believe we have one of those neutral site games against Winnipeg. Again, looks like it's always against Winnipeg, which kind of makes sense because if you think about the geography, like Winnipeg is kind of lost there. Like not all the teams are in the league now, so it's kind of, I guess it makes sense. Alright, Winnipeg is 4-5 this season. They are 6th in the conference. Let's take a look at their lineup. Oh, couple injuries here. Bobby Dallas is hurt with a fractured hip. Yeah, that's gonna take a while to heal. And then Thomas Steen is also, well, he's not hurt. He has dizziness and nausea. And then Mark Kumpel is day-to-day with a playable injury. So in net, the Jets have Frank Caprice and Pokey Reddick. On D, they have Barry, Randy Carlisle, Dave Ellett, Nordmark, Mario Mawatepunumanen, Frederick Allison. Up front, it's Brent Ashton. I forgot his first name for a second. Ian Duncan, Randy Gillen, Jones, Doug Smale, Boschman, Howard Pivanka, Wilson, Elena, Yarvenpa, Kumpel, and McBain. Alright. Are injuries going to catch up to us, or are we going to be able to keep it up? Alright, Rolly Melanson in net for us, Pokey Reddick in net for the Jets. Oh, we lost 5-3. Injuries are starting to catch up to us. Not able to beat the Jets. We were outshot by 1, 35-34. Randy Gillen was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Luke Robitaille was the second star with an assist. Pat Elenock was the third star with 2 goals. Jets took a 3-0 lead into the first period. And there was a fight between Mario Marois and Randy Ladouceur. Then in the second period, Bob Kudelski scored from Gord Dineen and Dan Gratton. It was 3-1 Winnipeg after 2. Then in the third, Winnipeg scored 2 more goals, and then Jim Fox scored from Mike Ridley and Randy Wood, and then Ray Shepard from Luc Robitaille and Wayne Gretzky. 5-3 Winnipeg, the final score. We lost. Dale Hawerchuk has achieved 500 assists in his career. That happened against us. He had a goal that made that happen. Dale Hawerchuk is 26 and a 5-star player. Suspension over for Jeff Norton with the Islanders, back in the lineup over there. And Minnesota is listening to offers for Stuart Gavin. Yeah, 2-star player. Yeah, he's a goon. I don't need him. Or at least he should be a goon. That's what he was in real life, as I remember him. No, not even. Well, he's not on waivers. I'm not gonna trade for him. I don't care about Stuart Gavin that much. Pretty sure he was a goon. Maybe I'm misremembering. Right, 1 day off, and then we're playing the Jets on the road again. Oh, bad news for New Jersey. Pat Verbeek is hurt. He's gonna miss 4 months. Wow. Torn back muscle. Mike Bullard's point streak ended at 13 games, no point against the Capitals. Right, playing Winnipeg. Now they are 5-5, and they are 7th in the conference. Let's see if we can avenge the loss from last time. Glenn Ely is going to be in net for us. Frank Caprice is going to be in net for the Jets. 3-2 win for the Kings. Alright, so we bounce back. That's good. Oh yeah, we outshot Winnipeg 46-27 in that one. Wayne Gretzky was the first star. He had 2 assists. Dale Hawerchuk was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Jeff Smith was the third star with a goal. Right, there was a fight between Luc Robitaille and... no, sorry. Luc Robitaille had a boarding major. I hope he's not suspended again. The fight was between Randy Carlyle and Gord Dineen. Right, then... yeah, that was in the second period. So no scoring in the first, no scoring in the second. There was that fight, and then in the third period, all of the scoring happened. Chris Kontos opened up the scoring on the power play from Wayne Gretzky and Ray Shepard. Then the Jets tied. Then Jeff Smith scored from Luc Robitaille and Wayne Gretzky. Oh, I guess Luc Robitaille... oh, no, he can still be suspended. He just didn't get a game misconduct. Then the Jets tied again, and then with 50 seconds left to go in the game, Ray Shepard scored the game-winning goal from Mike Ridley and Marty McSorley. 3-2 victory. Please don't be suspended again. Ugh. Luc Robitaille is suspended. He's going to miss... oh, 1 game. Okay. Alright, I guess we can deal with it for 1 game. Alright, I don't care about your October scouting. Alright, last game of the month is on Halloween Day. We're gonna go in Pittsburgh to play against the Penguins. Pittsburgh is fully healthy. Oh, Mario Lemieux has a rough start by his own standards. 9 points in 11 games. Alright, so Pittsburgh should be a pretty good team. Don Beaupre and Wendell Young in net. On D, they have Paul Coffey, Jim Johnson, Zardy Zalapski, Doug Bodger, Busquets, Lance, Shee. Up front, they have Randy Kennywart, Bob Airy, Troy Loney, Kevin Stevens, John Cullen, Dave Hannon, Mario Lemieux, Dan Quinn, Gardner, Tambellini, Bork, Frawley, Johnston, and Mark Recchi is there as an alpha star player. He is only 21, so he has not developed yet. Yeah, that's a pretty depleted lineup that we're bringing in, but we have Wayne Gretzky, so we can hope to win the game whenever we have Gretzky. Ooh, we have Roddy Melanson in net, so that might be tough. Don Beaupre is going to be in net for Pittsburgh. And we won 3-0 against Pittsburgh, which they were 8-3, by the way. I forgot to mention that. So prior to the game, of course, now they are 8-4. Right, so we were outshot 29-26. Roddy Melanson, I wasn't too sure, but hey, he pulled through with a shutout and the W, first star. Mike Ridley was the second star with 2 assists, and Ron Duguay was the third star with a goal. Ray Shepard opened up the scoring in the first from Mike Ridley and Randy Wood. Then Wayne Gretzky scored his 15th on the power play from Gary Galley and Mike Ridley. 2-0 Kings after one. Rod Buskus and Marty McSorley fought also in the first period. Nobody scored in the second, and then Ron Duguay scored in the third from Randy Busick, and Marty McSorley made it 3-0 Kings, and that was the end of the game. Alright, pretty good. Alright, so Robitaille is going to be back. He served his 1-game suspension. Memorable night for Mike Bullard. He had a hat-trick against the Washington Capitals. Oh, the jerseys that sold the most in October: Gretzky, Robitaille, Gardner, Ely, McSorley. And in the NHL, Wayne Gretzky sold the 16th most. Kelly Kissio sold the most jerseys in the month of October. And the players of the month for October were Wayne Gretzky and Patrick Roy. Alright, two names that make absolute sense. We're about to play against Boston, who finally won a hockey game. Look at that record. That's going to be for the next stream too, but 1-9-2. What a terrible start. Alright, so we end the month of October atop of the conference with a 5-point lead over the Oilers. The Oilers do have a game in hand, so we have 2 injuries that are about to come back. Mike Krushelnyski and Scott Arniel are both day-to-day. They should be coming back soon, so we're gonna if we can stay like that, we're just gonna be missing Mike Gardner for a while. So let's take a look at the standings. Wow, even the Nordiques are better than the Bruins right now. That's saying a lot. Alright, so the 5 teams that would miss the playoffs at the moment are the Washington Capitals, the Quebec Nordiques, the Boston Bruins, the Vancouver Canucks, and the Minnesota North Stars. That's what I'm talking about. Look at the Blues that would make the playoffs right now if it was to start with a 4-7 record. Like you can have a losing record and be in the playoffs anyway. Like a real bad losing record and be in the playoffs. Not gonna see that. Well, technically overtime losses are losses, but they generate points. Right, let's take a look. So Gretzky 28 points in 13 games, Gary Galley 16 in 13, Ray Shepard 15 in 13, Luc Robitaille 13 in 10, and then it goes down from there. And in the entire league, the best goal scorer is Wayne Gretzky with 15. The second place belongs to Gary Leeman and Kevin Stevens. Best passer are Paul Coffey and Vincent Anfous with 15 assists each. The best scorer is Wayne Gretzky with 28 points. There's 3 guys at 22, Ron Francis, Denis Savard, and Vincent Anfous. Alright. Goalie leaders. Both my goaltenders are still above 900 save percentage. That's pretty good for the 80s. All right. Well, we're not looking too shabby. We have a 9-3-1 start to the season, so that's not bad at all. I'm gonna go ahead and save the game, so I will be stopping here. I have to get ready for the game here. Well, it starts in an hour, but I get to do a couple things around the house before that starts. So as usual, I do want to thank you for tuning in, and if you're watching this on YouTube and you like the video, like the King start, like my couple blunders, or like the fact that Mike Gartner was hurt and that it makes it harder for me, well, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you folks next time. Thank you.